Welcome to Body Landscapes, a space where art, body, and soul meet. Let's find a balance between the rational and intuitive, between the brain, heart, and womb. Take a deep breath and let's dive deeper. Welcome to the next episode, and today I have a beautiful guest, a Mama Maria coach who guide the women towards their motherhood, but not just only that, but also embodied leadership. Maria, you are really high achiever, and this is beautiful that you give us a role model. What we are talking about today, it's about how to balance the masculine and feminine, the softness and the strength, how it make embodied experience. Many of us know this as an idea in the head, but when I met you in person, I was impressed how strong and stable and grounded you are with your presence. And this is what we all want to learn from you. It's not only about the motherhood, but it's about womanhood itself, how to stay soft, feminine, but at the same time do what you want and get some results. Because there is a lot of examples of the masculine side and the feminine, soft, energetic healers who are absolutely dissociated and they struggle with this grounding process. When you build your business, you should be rooted because it's about money, it's about place, people, strategy, all this discipline and structure, and need boundaries. You can present yourself, like share what you feel that it's important to start with. What do you think about all of that?
Yes. Well, thank you so much for inviting me. It's great to be here, Marka, with you. It's funny because if you had asked me a few years ago if I was an overachiever, I would be like, I have no idea what that is, and I don't think I am. I never really realized I was until very recently. I am Maria. I am also known as Mama Maria. So I am a coach, a parenting coach. I do this besides my other work. So I am also a consultant, high-level consultant, political advisor, basically. So I help organizations, foundations, and mostly non-for-profit organizations with beautiful missions to basically advocate towards the Dutch government to get funding. That's a little bit how I started working in the Netherlands with a previous client, which was Bill Gates. I used to work for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation when they were still married. And yeah, I grew very much in that field. And I saw the potential in how much you can change when you change policy, right? It's not one-on-one, it's like one-to-many. And then, if you change a policy or a law, or you mobilize resources for this kind of missions, you can achieve a lot. So I've always thought of that. I want to change a lot of things. I want to achieve huge impact. I always thought of things like that. I started being a psychologist. I studied psychology mostly because of my family of origin. I will tell you in a second about that. But then I very soon realized I didn't want to work in a room one-on-one, because I just always believed in this idea of impact, and lots and big, and I didn't want to do one-on-one. So that's a little bit how I came into consulting and working with NGOs. And at some point, I made my bigger transition, my professional transition, which I'm still, I still have one foot in consulting. So in 2 weeks, I'm going to The Hague to meet with parliamentarians and ministerial officials and ambassadors and things like that. And then on the other foot is my parenting journey and my parenting coaching. So that's what I do. If you want, I can tell you a bit about my upbringing and how I turned into being a coach and a parenting coach.
It's a beautiful podcast with the dumb parenting, and we
Yes.
can give a link because there was, in my opinion, this is masterpiece. I mean, this is really
Okay.
good. You can mention it shortly because I don't want to use the time for
Mhm.
for for that because this is absolutely for the book. I believe, like, but I'm sure it will be, it will come. It's also about impact to many, one to many. And just a question about your parenting coaching. This is one-on-one or also group or something?
So I have three pillars of work on my Mama Maria coaching work. One is one-on-one. So I still do some coaching one-on-one, but it's very limited. I do one-to-many through corporate coaching sessions. So I do that in offices, but I also do courses. So I have one particular course which I'm promoting and I will launch at the end of the year, which is called Fat Families Foundation, uh, which is like laying the groundwork of what I consider to be the basis of a good family life. And it includes financial preparedness, but also mostly emotional preparedness. Basically, it's the course that we wished our parents did. And so that they didn't mess up so much. They mess us up so much. And then I do events. So basically, the baby fair. I help people prepare and connect with the broader village and with conscious companies as well. So that's with the baby fair.
We get the role models from our parents, like the relationship between, because I mentioned the masculine and the masculine and feminine, it's literally mother and father, which is constantly talking inside of me, and I'm loyal to mother or loyal to father, and if they have conflict, I also have some conflict with that part of me inside.
Mhm.
I can be strong, like for example, cannot be strong because I have this resentment, or like I was abused by my father and something, and all the masculine in general, it's just forbidden or rejected, and I don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
But it's have the blockage as I see it in family constellations, for example, it's often became a block, like it blocked me from the expansion, from the this social power, money, business, wherever.
Mhm.
I stay in that feminine domain, close my mother, who is weak. Like, for example, she's victim, she
Mhm.
powerless, moneyless, absolutely unsafe, disconnected from her body, and like this is the typical. Like, I just paint you a typical example
Yes.
from where we try to rebuild that foundation inside of my body, and it's mirroring into the family system which I built, trying to make it healthy from zero. Like, you have this special family dynamics, you do that, and we
Mhm.
want to we want to know how
Uh,
how is
Well,
happening.
it's been a journey for sure. I certainly had two very particular role models at home. I had a very depressed and I'm just thinking how much I can share without sharing about them
Sure.
and maintaining their anonymity. But I had two parents. One had very strong mental health issues and alcoholism and was all the time crying, 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 crying. And the other one was, it's okay, everything is good, just smile, don't cry. And in my head, I associated the one, that was the weaker one, so to say, the more emotional one.
Mhm.
I associated very quickly in my youth, in my childhood, that crying was a weakness and that I shouldn't cry. And that if I actually remain strong and goal oriented and just, very much in my head and not so much in my body, I would succeed because
Mhm.
that other person, that other parent was stronger, more successful.
Yes.
It looked on the outside that my other parent was stronger. And therefore, very quickly and very unconsciously, I internalized these two role models, right? So I became, in some ways, very much in my head and very masculine, very, goal oriented. I was always the man in every relationship, I was, yes, you're right, very strong in my goals. I always achieve my goals. Like, it doesn't matter. It didn't matter what it was. I learned how to fly airplanes in 28 days. I don't know anybody else in the world that did that. That is
Mhm.
crazy. And I used to have these ideas, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to learn these languages. I'm going to travel to this amount of countries. I'm going to work for the UN. I'm going to do all of these things. And it was great in so many ways because I had this capacity of just do it. However, this is almost like being a bulldozer. I did it with some consequences. Some of the consequences were to myself, to my body. Like I am prone to almost get burnout. I have never gotten a burnout, but I've been so close to burnouts because then I don't have this understanding of when I have to stop. I just keep going and going and going. It's very difficult for me to stop, I just always want more. I keep
Mm-hmm.
going. I have this unlimited energy, seems like sometimes. And then the other problem or the other consequence about this type of, type A
Mm-hmm.
behavior or personality is that I would do everything on my own. I would be very
Mm-hmm.
bad in partnerships, in collaborations, which is a very feminine quality. It's all about the process. And it would be almost like if I went over anything or anybody to achieve my goals.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not very healthy. That's not very healthy for me, and that's not very healthy for relationship building. So, and certainly it's impossible when you have kids because they have different plans for you. They have different, different speeds, different, disposition or not disposition of doing things. So that was a little bit of a crash, of course. And at some point, I actually went to see a coach who helped me understand the difference between feminine and masculine. I had no idea about it. And it was so beautiful and so transformational. And I really understood, the part of me, the shadow part of me, the feminine that I had blocked all my life because I thought that was the weakest. That was like that was the one that I didn't want to see and I didn't want to be. And she helped me unlock that. And that was around 8 years ago. And that's really when my journey also started to realize the qualities that I was missing. Like if I thought I had superpowers by just being, so goal oriented and so, go getter and all of these things, imagine when you have, and the intuition, beautiful acceptance of collaborations and doing things together and enjoying the process, you know, disassociating from the outcomes really, like the process is the way, the process is
Mm-hmm.
the outcome. Um, yeah, and just embracing self-care and embracing the emotional part of this, like accepting when I have good days and bad days, or these days that I'm doing this, but half of the day I just took off because I was tired. I have my menstruation and I thought, that's it. I've performed enough. I don't need to perform anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving myself the allowance to just take off the rest of the day. This is also part of, I mean, it's still work, but it's different. It's relaxing. So yeah, it's been a journey and it's still I am still part of the journey, of course. It's you don't get to graduate into this.
Sure, but for some women, they don't make this decision because I'm asking because you can all your life live in that condition, and this is always for me like a magic moment. You face something and you have this ability, inner ability to realize, to step into your shadow, to acknowledge this, to embrace it. Because for some women, it's stay in the shadow all the life, and it's for sure, like for example in my work I see the consequences of this as reproductive issues. When we have any like different problems and the women step into the surgery, or they just face some medical interventions or something, and they also include mental health things into the account, and they step into that, and then they have to acknowledge this rejected feminine side, or the wounds or something to balance that, not for well-being, but just I have no other choice. And even here it also can be my choice, or it's not my choice, I have to, and I resist. And this is also like the magical thing for like, this is, let's say, the invitation for personal growth. You can do that or you cannot. This is absolutely unimaginable, the amount of energy you had. Because what you describe, to be driven so for a long period of time to achieve it, it require a lot of energy, and it stay with you during motherhood. Because some women, when they step into the process, they experience physical consequences. And maybe I wish, but I have brain fog, I have the weakness, I have mood swings, the changes, the physical changes in the level of energy. This is actually can be unexpected. You experience something like that, or your level of energy stayed the same all the time?
No, my level of energy was not always the same. I had lots of fluctuations. But I also realized at some point that I needed to respect my body. Like the body is wise. If you treat the body well, like there's a few pillars of well-being that, the body will naturally heal and naturally have vitality when you treat it well. I was not treating it very well to my body. I was drinking and smoking. And therefore, of course, I didn't have a lot of energy at the beginning of my motherhood. I was like dragging myself. I was not a very happy person. I was a happy mother, but I was not a happy person because I was thinking that the amount of energy that it takes, to create another human being, to raise another human being on top of everything else. But then on top of that, if I'm not treating my body very well, I wasn't sleeping very well. It was disastrous. I still kept going because that was my, I was like a bike with pinch wheels and I kept going and going and going, but that was of course not very efficient. So at some point I had to stop something. And I do remember you making me realize that at some point I thought I knew this connection between mind and body. And I knew that if I put all my energy or like most of the energy, like the leftover energy from doing the basics, right? Like, I still have to work, I still need to parent and stuff like that. But if the rest of the energy, which most people put into work, if I put a lot of that energy into my own healing process, into my own recovery, into my mental, emotional well-being, then everything will get better much faster, because I believe this is one of the pillars of my work, that most of the things that we struggle with as adults come from the unresolved issues from our childhoods, from our childhood trauma, from our mental and emotional not well-being. And the body knows that, and the body keeps the score, right? We carry the issues in our tissues. So I thought to myself, if I put all of the energy, if I really devote several hours every week or, for sure every day into my own well-being, my own recovery and understanding and healing, somatic work, all of that, it's a good idea. So I kept doing that for the last, you see, for the last few years, I did a lot of that. And then the magic happens because my body is so healthy now. So I do have a lot of vitality and my body is doing what it's supposed to do. It's like a seed, it's growing. There's a lot of greenery around it because there's fertile ground, there's good fertilizer, like I have good food and good, especially a lot of help and a lot of support from a lot of people. I have the sun, all of these things, like energetically speaking. And therefore I do have that energy because I think unless there's some, deeper issues with health, if you have some health conditions that are not related to this and they're just like genetic and so on, then I think it should be, it's what the body is supposed to do, have vitality and have energy, right? And then I also just take out from my life anything that doesn't serve me, anything that costs me energy, like feng shui for the rooms, but it's the same for life. Like now I was just writing this little post about when we feel the body tells us things all the time. Red flags, green flags, is constantly giving us cues, like, do I feel good? Do I feel good talking to you? Do I feel bad when, I talk to this person? If I don't feel the body, I'm going to keep going into this unhealthy relationships or unhealthy jobs or unhealthy, toxic, whatever. And that's going to take a lot of my energy. If I embody the discernment, like the awareness, but then also the decision making of that is not longer serving me. That person is no longer serving me, that relationship, that job. You start triaging all of that. You start leaving that out, with that discernment. And therefore you're lighter. energetically you're lighter. And then you also have more energy because I don't have to deal with crazy people anymore. I mean, I still do. Or with my crazy head as well. And that is energetically speaking like feng shui for people. Then, of
Yeah.
course, you have more energy. I sleep less now. I sleep 7 hours, 7 hours and a half because I don't need to sleep so much. You know what I mean? Because I am I reach a point where I'm mostly in a balanced state of mind, in a parasympathetic, rest and digest
Mhm.
nervous system setting. So my body doesn't need to come back from anything, from big hikes and pikes and stuff like that. So that
Yeah.
also gives me energy.
Yeah, that's interesting point which you describe, and I wish a lot of women can reach that point because many of women they feel that point, but they not follow. I get the signal. Yes, I know that it's drain my energy, but I'm not following my this inner voice, my intuition. This what you describe, just the pure evidence of the self-worth that my body, my time, my life, my energy it has a value and I feel that value. And because of that, I treat it this way.
Mhm.
Sometimes we take this value from the parents in the constellations. Like
Mhm.
my value, literally like a diamond, can be placed somewhere else outside of me. Like for women, for example, I'm a function. I'm not someone who is valuable. I'm just a function for care about family, care about children, working good, working for the society, and all that. And what you described, this is the so beautiful. And for I'm not doing this always. By the way, I also can share that I know everything. I work in a body-oriented approach with the somatic space. I know all the things. I'm not doing everything correctly because
Me
nobody
neither.
is
Me
perfect.
neither. Absolutely. It's progress, not perfection. 100%. I also don't use, like I know it as well. And I also make a lot of mistakes and I have setbacks. But you know what? I think we're used to what is familiar to us, about neuroplasticity and how our brains are wired in our early experiences. And we go back to that because that's the main river, right? It's almost like a river coming from a mountain. Yes, you can create a new pathway, but it's so heavy, it's so imprinted in us that if we have learned I'm not good enough, I am used to drama, or I'm used to difficult, or I am afraid of success, that's where you will go back to. That's your footprint. That's your, blueprint. Footprint, no.
Mhm.
That's your blueprint in your brain. That's the highways of the brain. And when you move away, it just takes a constant reiteration every day. You need to just, it's a daily practice, it's a
Routine.
daily practice. It's a daily routine. That doesn't mean, for example, I don't fear success, or I don't have moments where I doubt my work or I doubt my worth. Like I have that also for sure. I think everybody does. I don't think anybody, it's truthful if they say they don't. But I think at some point I made a decision. I think we should all make a decision. It always starts with a decision. I don't want to leave. Like I want to have the most rewarding and enriching life, and I want to leave something behind. Like I always think I'm so tiny. I'm just a little human and a miracle. I'm a miracle in some ways. I'm very tiny, but I'm a miracle in that way. And you are a miracle. And if I think about, I love this idea of thinking about our planet and how it's a miracle planet. If you look at the universe and the chances of not just a planet, a life as we know it in the planet today, that you and I are doing a podcast right now, with our eyes and our mouths and like the whole technology, it's a miracle, right? Like it's a miracle planet. And if you think about the amount of coincidences that had to happen for you to be created from all the sperm and eggs in the history of humanity to be you or me, I think it's a miracle. And therefore, I believe that there's something spiritual in all of us, something magical in all of us, that we are here for something, you know, nobody is just here, just a human doing something. Sometimes I think of that because I like that relativism. But but then I get depressed because I'm like, oh, there's no point in living, or there's no, there's no
Mhm.
ultimate motive or ultimate mission. I like to go into the other side, which is if we are all miracles, that also means we must all have a mission here. And I want to do the best. Mm, I want to do anything that I can to achieve that mission in the best possible way. And how many more years do I have in the planet? I'm 45.
Not so
How
much.
many years? I already start feeling the decay in my body. I start feeling, oh, this energy that I always have, I'm not going to have it all the time. I'm not going to have it forever. So my life is going to get in, not crescendo, but in descendo. I don't know the opposite of crescendo. It's going to shrink. And therefore, the amount of things that I can do or the amount of impact that I can have to realize my full potential is going to get smaller and smaller. So I don't have time to lose.
Mhm.
This is what
Yes.
motivates me to change. I don't have time to lose. Change is today. And every day I have a chance to redirect myself and to start again. And then when I fall and lose track, whatever, next day I don't have to wait until 1st of January 2027.
Yeah, this is the illusion of endless life.
Mhm.
And because of that, the signs of aging actually it's a good motivation. It's just reminder in the mirror that actually your time will be finished and you can value and use it properly. And
Exactly.
this is brilliant. I mean, this is the good point. I always measure that. Not everybody is motivated, by the way. This is brilliant that that you presented so beautifully, and I resonate with that. I'm not satisfied with the speed of my growth. Let's be sincere. I think that I thought 5 years ago that I will grow faster than I am. Because of my baggage, I'm go quite slow. This is like a journey, and if I traveling with light, it's come faster. And I'm with that baggage behind me, and I'm just unload a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. But in reality, it's not so fast. It's in imagination. And started today. Let's say like this. This is interesting about this. Why the women in after menopause, in perimenopause, after menopause, they described as they like say fuck you to everybody, like they irritated, they put boundaries, they start saying something. And this is related. When you grow older, you feel that limitations, what you tolerate before, you stop tolerating and fuck off. If you not give me something, like it's speak more bold. For me, when I grow older, I sense it's interesting thing that I'm not before I was in a competition. I have this internalized misogyny. This I also have this problem with the collaboration and all that feminine things to not collaborate, not compete. I have this tendency to compete, not collaborate. And I compete when I was young, let's say. And now I'm like out of the market, let's say. And it gives a lot of freedom. I mean, when I see my wrinkles or like I'm big, grow older, I can say whatever I want because anyway, it doesn't matter. Because before that, I felt like I need to belong, to fit in, to like, I can be ashamed, not like I'm not attract something like no, just I just don't give a fuck. Not so, not as much I wish to. I wish to do it much more, but You know what is interesting? It's interesting that you implant your previous career into the this female domain, because what I saw in the women who worked in a corporate world and they, for example, was good in selling, in doing things, when they start doing their startups or businesses or something, when they have to present themselves, they became shy. Like when I sell my company, it's good when I sell someone else. But when I should go to the stage and speak up for myself, from for me, like for my business, immediately it became complicated. And when you share your experience, it's, I don't feel that there is any problem. You just go with the flow. Like we do these projects, go into to this female domain, and you take your skills with you.
Mhm.
And this is not typical. I mean, I every day I see women who struggle with that. Some women, they never have this experience of free, like no fear of visibility, no shame, no guilt. They just speak what they want and do what they like, what they want. Yeah, and you go smoothly with that.
I think I actually think I've learned in the 12-step programs
Mm-hmm.
because I go to AA meetings and we're not supposed to talk about AA in public domain, so I'm not going to talk much about it. But as you know, I go to AA for 3 years and a half now, and it's the best thing that has happened to me. And one of the things that happens in these rooms is in every 12-step program, people come in and you see it in the movies and then they share. And what happens is you can't fully be yourself when you're not in safety. This is all about childhood. You become your full self when you can, when there is safety around you, when it's okay for you to be 100% yourself. But most of us haven't grown up in those environments because our parents didn't, right? So we repeat what was given to us. So what happens in these rooms actually mimics a healthy family, a healthy, safety, safe family. And when I share in these meetings, nobody responds. Everybody hugs at the end and everybody's welcoming. And I can say whatever I want about my journey of recovery that nobody's going to kick me out. And that gives me the power of vulnerability, which is a power. So I can be vulnerable. Like I can share, I share, I think, and it's beautiful and I love it. And I have no problem sharing. I mean, so many things have happened to me and I made up a lot of messes. Like there is a reason why I'm in an A. And also how much, deep childhood trauma I have. Like I've seen one of my parents try to jump out of a car with us inside, everybody else inside, and then tell the police that we were trying to kill this person. Like this is the level of trauma I've experienced, in my body. So this is complex PTSD I'm talking about. And I talk about it. I talk about it with a lot of care because I don't want to, I still am very loyal to my parents and I love my parents and they were very loving parents as well, but they were suffering from a lot of trouble, and unresolved issues. Um, but part of my mission is to speak up. In fact, I want to organize a campaign, a worldwide campaign, eventually, hopefully called hashtag Mine Too. Mine Too was a difficult upbringing or a difficult childhood. So we can all talk about this more openly because that's, I think, I realize this is my superpower is to be vulnerable and open because the moment I do this, everybody around me opens up as well. Oh, I also suffered from this. Oh, I also had an alcoholic parent. Oh, I also did this. Oh, my mom was this. Oh, my dad was this. This is the biggest secrets that we carry worldwide. You have high level, I can already tell you all those high achievers have deep trauma because it always comes from deep insecurity and deep issues with self-esteem. And all of that is rooted in childhood. So the more we can talk about this openly, and I'm very open about it, I think the more is contagious, this vulnerability and it's contagious. Vulnerability is contagious for sure. So I think
Yeah,
it's necessary.
this is I'm just enjoying actually because it's not so often I meet people who are ready to sincere connection to the like an adult conversation. Let's talk about something what truly matters, like about something important about your experience, not about the weather or small talk or something. Because even and this is joy, and if like I just feel that, and I felt it in the podcast which I listened you sent me, and this is beautiful.
I think that's the basis of connection, like deep connection, that I think everybody's really missing without knowing. I think a lot of people are missing these deeper connections without knowing, because you can only connect at this level when there's vulnerability, and
Mhm.
you can only have vulnerability when there's safety. So for me, it's all about creating, and it starts somewhere. It has to start somewhere. So the only way that I found is to, one, speak up myself. This is my mission, to speak up myself, because that generates the idea of safety, that you can also be open with me because I've been open with you. So this, it creates a camaraderie, a sort of intimacy, which creates connection, and that's healing. That's like at the end of the day, that is what heals everybody. People that are suffering from any addiction, they say in recovery programs, addiction is the opposite of connection. When
Mm-hmm.
you connect, you don't need to go into anything else because you're feeling that whole, And of course, it's also about spirituality. I also believe in spirituality as the answer. But at the human level, it's all about connection and feeling safe and being vulnerable.
Yeah. Yeah, and I see that as a sign, like sometimes clients they ask, when it's finished? Like, how can I get that I'm healed? Because this is healing, never-ending story. Like I'm healing, healing, and there is some point when they question that, and this is the sign how I feel that when you speak about something and you feel okay, safe, I'm good, I'm just share, this is part of my story, it means that I have scars, not wounds.
Mm.
Because the wound, which is not here, I'm not healed yet, I will feel that pain and cry, and I just literally cannot share something. And if I share this, it means that I embrace this as a part of my gnosis, about like this is part of my journey, and this made me who I am. Without that hard experience, I never became. This is the process of becoming me, who I am supposed to be. Even like it could be so hard, but to just show the one like last year I did a profound session, transformative, like about energy and all that, like expansion. I want to expand, like in one time, like let's expand. um and I saw it as a mountain, like I'm just go to the next level. And during that session I find myself exactly opposite side. It brings me into the depth of the shadow of the deep down ocean. And I saw like, okay, it was my infantile dream to become without actually entering the depth of the ocean. For the first, I go there, and then this energy released from the shadow, from the this, like let's say black hole which is inside of me, become a universe, become the source of like a vortex which can be go downwards. This vortex can go upward, like filled with energy. And I saw that transformation because often the women in the womb space or the heart, they have this black hole, they literally draw this black hole. This black hole really literally transformed into the baby, for example. It's often um, like one time literally it was a black hole, we communicate with that, and it's just welcome a baby. what you mentioned about the spirituality, I cannot separate spirituality from our body, natural spirituality, because when we go into that sincere connection, if we connect with ourselves, with the body, and with others, on the deep level, we always find spirituality. And I see that some people, they scared by that.
Yeah, for sure. And I was also scared about it. I was like, oh, am I gonna lose myself into some of these cuckoo, Not at all. I see all of these never-ending recovery, never-ending healing, never-ending. I like recovery better than healing because healing looks like there was something sick, and I
Mm-hmm.
actually think that all of the coping mechanisms or unhealthy coping mechanisms were actually healthy because they kept us alive and they helped us survive. So I actually don't think they are unhealthy necessarily. I think they are what they are. They're nature's, not natural in some way. I like the recovery better because what I see this is it's like a video game where you go one stage and one phase after another. You're going through one level two up, and you only go to the next level, which in reality is the inwards level, right? It's almost like you're an onion. It's a video game
Yeah.
called Onion. Let's call it like that. And then you just, you're like, oh, I think I need to go deeper and deeper. And then you just go to the next level. And then you think you almost got it all, right? So that's the day that you go to therapy and you're like, oh, I have nothing to talk about. I think I'm cured. And then that day is when all the shit comes out and you're like, oh, wait a minute. I didn't know this existed. I didn't know I had a father wound. I didn't know I had a mother wound. I didn't know I had like whatever. So you go deeper and deeper and deeper. And for me, the outcome of all of these, without really holding too much on the outcome because it is the process, but without obsessing about when am I going to be there, because again, that's the masculine goal, when am I going to be done? And we're not enjoying the process. For me, it's about peeling all of those layers of unhealthy coping mechanisms until we are as baby-like as possible, that we're as pure as possible, as transparent as possible, as grounded as possible, so that we can connect with our higher power the best as possible. That we're cleared of all our character defects and difficulties and paranoias, whatever, like unhealthy coping mechanisms, because those are distractions to going back to the unique human being that we are, which we are human and spiritual beings. And for me, that's really serenity and the peace and the inner peace. And that's when you're aligned, like when there is alignment. And I think that's magnetic. And you see it in businesses, you see it in people that are, able to speak that like that. That's for me, the goal is to be in that place. And I've had these moments, this glimpse of, oh, that's what it is. I feel it, I feel it because I am at peace with what I'm doing. I'm peace with the people around me. I feel my body and it's serene. I can sleep well. Like the sun is shining and people feel it. It's a perception. You feel it. Other people feel it because you're also energetic. And I think that's contagious as well when you reach that point. I think for me that's the whole concept of spirituality. You're shining the light that you were supposed to be here in this planet.
Mhm. Yeah. This is about the process and goal. This is the clear, like I started with that, like masculine, feminine, but actually, this is when you combine process, you can enjoy process and you get your goals. Like you have some things done, you have some results, because only process, mostly I see women who stuck in the process, only process, like endless ocean river, they flowing and they don't know where is the shore, what is this, like where is the upside down, like I'm lost, I don't know who is me, where is my, like what's going on. And other things, this is just the goal oriented, just like bulldozer, what you described exactly, like no matter what, just going through the people and events and whatever. And this is just clear. If I can enjoy the process and I have some results, I'm successful. I'm succeed. It's just super good. But how you see now, how you can describe the um, successful like achievement? How you see achievement in this perspective now?
Um, for me, well, it depends on the moment where I was, where I am. At some point for me, success was trying, just start, and just do it and
Mm-hmm.
make the decision of I want to make this business and I want to leave
Mm-hmm.
something else. So it depends, right? It's gradual, right? It's progressive. Success is progressive. Like for me right now, success would look like achieving the goals that I have to help as many people as possible to make this leap and to heal slash recover themselves so that they can not they don't pass it on to their children, all of these childhood traumas, and to uh, speak up and engage and contage as many people as possible. But for me, success is only success when I can still have my time with my kids, my quality time with my kids, that I can be a good mother. Because if I'm stressed with all of this and I start screaming every day at my kids and I don't have time for them, that's not success for me. If I don't have time for myself and for my well-being, that's not success. It's not sustainable. So it's it's all about balance. For me, it's like if there is one word which encapsulates the way I see success is balance. Is really having this balance. And for me, I'm still a high achiever. I can't help it, I still it's like a inertia. I can't stop myself. Like I have this, I'm very, very value driven and very, very goal driven. Um, and I realized that the only way also to achieve my goals is to partner with people and to do it together with other people. Like I love working with a team. I work with a lot of people right now. I never used to work on my own. Now I just outsource so much things, and I'm always trying to find new people and people that work with me very well. I work with Ellen, for example. She was a volunteer for me or an intern for me for a year. Now I pay her because I'm like, I love how she works. And if I want to grow, I also have to invest my money, So I just, and I'm paying my new other intern. I was always outsourcing, and that's why I think about money very much because money is a means to an end. And I want people and women, which are not very good with money, I am very good with money, to earn their money, to speak up because it is a mean to an end. So I don't want to be rich. I don't, if I wanted to be rich and earn 10,000 euros a month, I would stay where I was. I had it working 20 hours a week. That was perfect. I was not even 40 and I was earning 10, 20, 10, 12,000 every month as a consultant. I could have stayed there. I don't want that. I mean, I still like to earn my money, but what I want is full achievement. That's what I want. And that's, this mission that I have to help people and parents, not pass it on to their kids. This whole history of dysfunctionality and family trauma. Yeah, so
This is beautiful. Just I take it for me, I'm actually resonate with that. I always thought that the better to try than to think about that. Oh, if I could, like, you did it. Like, at least you take the first step, and this already success. This is already success. And what you describe about the time with your children, this is nice because I also witness that for some women, the motherhood, this is the motivation when they literally see their children and they start value their time and put borders.
mhm.
Before children, they cannot do that. They just go with the flow here, there, and now they know it should be here. This is here. This is here. My time is limited, my resources is limited, and this kind of like body mind process influence on the business as well. I need this money for the safety of my children and me, and I need this time. And because of that, I will work more effective. I will work differently, more consciously.
Mhm.
And then motherhood became a really a great start for the
A
sustain,
catalyst. Mhm.
yeah, the catalyst
Catalyst,
of the
yeah.
process.
Yeah, I think the most effective women, most effective humans are women that just had children. I heard this from a boss. I'm like, I'll take it as a compliment. Yeah, of course, the necessity makes that, but I also think that the way that we use time has a lot of relation, and this is why I put a whole module around time in my course. There's, 5 modules, and one of them is money, and the other one is time, and they're like two sides of the same coin, and they're both related to self-esteem as well.
Yeah.
Because when you're when you are a people pleaser,
Hmm.
which is all coming from fear, when you're a people pleaser and you want other people to see the value that you have because you're afraid that otherwise they'll remove the love from you, you will give more time, you will give away more time, and you will have less boundaries or less, borders, as you say, um, out of fear. And that is not loving yourself. That's not loving yourself. So women in general, I think, have a big issue in just, it sounds like if you're harsh when you say, no, I have 10 minutes and this is my time and that's it. And that's all I have. And sometimes people like me that are very strict with time might come across as rude. But I think I actually get the opposite. I get sometimes annoyed when people, stretch the time and don't value the time of others because it is not very respectful. Like we have time is it's the most valuable resource that we have, time and energy, right? It's like this idea of time and energy.
Yeah.
Um, like money is unlimited. You can have all the money in the world. You can, grow and grow and grow, and it's unlimited, but time is limited. We all have the same. It's just 24 hours every day. That's it.
The women and the money, this is absolutely separate conversation. What you shared, this is valuable experience and inspiring role model. You are aligned. That
Mhm.
this is the
Not
word.
always, but try.
This is all about the like 20% or 80% of
Yes.
my lifetime I'm aligned. It's just about again about the balance, and this is beautiful. I just make a wish for women who will listen to that to be inspired and just believe that the change is possible, that you can change if you see recognize yourself in something what is like it's not happening in your life, but you can.
Yes, but I would say I wouldn't have achieved anything without help. Like what I see around me is people that are managing change and actually changing is people that have made a decision that they want to change. So it all starts with a decision. Sometimes it's a decision preceded by a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. They had enough, I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to live like this. I don't want to be with this person, or I'm done not earning money, whatever it is. So there's a level of uh, rock bottom, if I may. And then there's this decision to do something different. And I believe that there's two elements for any kind of change. One is to do it together with other people. Like we grow together. We need each other. I wouldn't have managed without the help of the 12-step programs and people around me all the time. And that's why I also volunteer 2 to 3 hours every week, volunteer to help others, in the program to help others voluntarily. I don't earn any money because somebody gave that to me in the program and helped me grow and do the work. And that's the second part is the consistency. Do the work every day. Every day there has to be, it's like a plant. You have to water the plant. You have to the water the or like our bodies, we have to give food every day. We have to shower every day. It doesn't matter how many showers you have in 2 days. If you had 4 showers in 2 days, that's great. But at the end of the week, if you didn't do anything else, you're going to be stinky. So the work, the inner work, and any work that we have, towards better money or, better finances or, more emotional well-being or parenting, whatever it is, it's a daily thing. every day. I like the book Atomic Habits because it talks about 15 minutes. So sometimes I just do 15 minutes of something, whatever I want to achieve. I just say, that's my plan. I write it down. And then I say every day 15 minutes. And when I get stuck, I call somebody. I have accountability partners. And then we do this together. There's many, I can also help people find groups around accountability so that they get the shit done.
I was just listening and just recall today we just talk about the guilt that when the women we talk today about Eastern Europe mindset, let's say when what you described, this is require no guilt about delegate to collaborate and share this to get things done, because I just hear these voices of like when they not struggle, this is habit for struggling, like I have to struggle, and this is just what you described. This is the way to expand, getting things done without struggling. And when
Exactly.
you're together, just grow faster and expand better.
Yeah, and there is, I still not very often, but I still have some guilt feeling, if I tell you how much I delegate, what would you think of me? If I tell you that I have, babysitters almost every day in my house helping me tidy up and organize things, or interns working with me, or if I tell you that I outsource, I don't know what other work, what are you going to think of me? There's still this guilt, but why not? I am paying people to have a mission to help. I've also worked as a babysitter. I've also been an intern. I've even cleaned toilets. I don't care. And I would do it again if I have to. Work is work, number one. Second, if you're not paying other people, if you're not, allowing other people to grow and to offer something, always offer something, of course, you're not allowing those people to grow either and the opportunity, right? Like,
Yes.
I always think, oh, I have interns, and some people are like, oh, interns, and you don't pay them. And I'm like, well, I pay some of them when I can, when I have the money, I pay them, and some of them I don't. But the amount of things that I give them in advance, in exchange, most of them have gone into getting jobs, So I tell them like everything that I can do, from writing, they write the recommendation letter, I sign them. I check their CVs. I'm always there if they have questions about, job offers or job interviews, or I am their reference, and all the learning process, like just everything that they learn through the work that they do with me. Like I wouldn't be where I am without being an intern. I was interning, and many of them without being paid. Not everything is about money, like not every, we have to also disassociate this idea of not everything is about money. I also don't charge for everything that I do. I do a lot of things for free, and that's okay. I don't need to earn all the time for everything. There's a lot of things that can be given for free, and I do volunteer every week because that's beautiful as well, to do things for free just because I want to do them, because I want to help others. Not everything has to have a price. You know what I mean? So I think this is like we need to also demystify how we collaborate with each other. It's a natural thing. It's important. Our society, our individualized capitalist societies is making us think like that is a problem. No, that's how communities grow. You cook for me one day, I cook for you another day.
Exchange.
Yeah,
Yeah. Just the exchange should be equal. Not like how to say it, but exchanging value. Like and the
exactly. What is the value? Yeah. And remain open to discuss. Hey, for example, now I have the baby fair and I am opening for collaborations with booths and sponsors. And of course, I have a price in mind for each thing, but I'm also open, like if somebody comes and says, well, my revenue is very low and I would love to be part of it. I'm like, great, let's talk about it. Like, this is how it works, and it's natural. Let's talk about it. How can I, and also, what do you need from me? How can I make your experience beautiful? I want you to come back, like, what can I do for you? How can I make you happy? Like, if
Mhm.
you're happy, I'm going to be happy. Everything is going to be a success. We're going to be flying in the same wavelength, because you're content, I'm content, you talk to me. I
Mm.
talk to this with my interns as well. Like one of my interns was responding like a bit more slowly than she used to. And I'm like, are you okay? Are you? And she's like, oh, I'm in exam week. I said, great, take your time. Like, let's talk next week. Like, don't worry. Another one had depression issues. Be well, come back when you need to, like, can we be more humans? Can we adapt?
This is luxury, what you offer. Now this is what you described. This is next level after survival. What you share, that not everything about money. I hear that nothing, not everything about survival. You also have some other things, some wishes. You have human connection, and
Exactly.
this money thinks it's about just I'm hunger, I'm come from hunger, and I need just grub, just not just only survive. Do you want to wish something at the end of our conversation to the listeners?
Yeah, for them to make that decision today. Decision of what they want to do different. What's that light that is, wanting to be shining for each and one of the listeners? What's that thing that is alive, that wants to be alive and that wants to be let out, for them to be making that decision of whatever that is that they are here for in this world, like their true self. This is the moment. This is the sign. That's my wish.
Thank you for being with me with this conversation. I wish you to have a great baby fair. I didn't fill the form yet, but it's not. It's in my agenda. I hope to see you soon,
Thank you
somewhere.
so much. Yes, for sure. Will with me. Thank you for the opportunity.